Friday feeling, waking up full of excitement. ASOTUCon is just hours away. We can count it in hours at this point, but we have some news like the Queen's car collection that we just have to talk about this morning.
Everywhere I go, the people really want
The Queen's car collection.
Who I be. They stop and stare when they
It's a good one.
The Queen's Car Collection. I feel like that's a punk rock band from the 90s.
Queen's car collection? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yes. Somebody needs to jump on that quick. The Queen's cars. The Queen's cars. It's probably
The
I don't
Queen's
know.
Cars. Yeah.
Well, it is a beautiful Friday morning. Welcome. We know we have a number of new people joining the ecosystem. Excited. We got some cool shout outs and love we heard in an automotive news webinar yesterday from the guest.
So cool.
She was like, yeah, I've just really been listening to this podcast a lot lately. It's called The Automotive Troublemaker. It's these guys, Paul and Kyle. I don't know their last names. She's like, but I've been really on that lately.
Yes, it's so good. It's so
So
good.
it's amazing. So I don't know. I'm sure we won't see her at ASOTUCon. I think she's an executive with Cox Automotive or something.
Yeah,
but
something like
It's fun. It's fun to know that other people are joining this community on the regular that we don't know about. Like that's what community is. In the beginning, it starts and you know everybody in it, right? Because little small group, only a few people. Then it gets bigger and kind of like you know everyone who knows everyone, and it gets bigger. And at some point, it gets to the point where people are like they feel like they're a part of the community, like they have some level of relationship. You know, we have the honor, I would say, and privilege of being kind of the face of ASOTU for now. And being able to make the content so people start to feel like they know you and you know, because they kind of understand how you think and you feel. And so it's just really fun to watch the community grow. It's fun to watch our team
expand and our team get. I love our team
in on the content.
They're like in on the content. Plus, they're like we had a couple conversations in our team meeting yesterday. It was like, oh, I reached out to so and so that knew what we were doing, and we connected, and we were able to connect the dots on some content. And so it's really neat to kind of see that spider web of impact start to really take place further than what you can actually reach and touch. So
yeah, for sure. And if you want to meet some of our team, you're going to be at ASOTUCon, which, by the way, I don't know if you've heard, it's going to be starting on Sunday evening. If you want to go and you're in the area, you can still get tickets if you're a dealer. Absolutely. Go to ASOTUCon.com. And here's the deal. If you're at ASOTU, right, you just be involved in everything because it's going to be amazing. That's why we provided all the meals and all the things. We got as much organization and scheduling to keep you informed. When you get there, you're going to get this beautiful little booklet we made up. But if you can't be there, if you can't join us this time, there'll be other times for you to join us.
Absolutely.
But this time, if you can't, follow along on our social media channels. Primarily, hop on LinkedIn, follow ASOTU on LinkedIn, also on Instagram, Automotive State of the Union. And we have a dedicated LinkedIn account for ASOTUCon.
Instagram
I'm sorry. What did I say? LinkedIn account. I'm sorry.
Instagram account for ASOTUCon. You can just search it. It's ASOTUCon, ASOTUCON. So yeah, follow along there because that's where all the stories, that's where all the fun things that are happening, the lives, a little BTS action with our social media crew. So we got a whole run and gun crew that's ready to roll.
Small army flying in literally from all over the country to just like descend havoc on content creation throughout that entire event.
It'll be a masterclass. It's gonna be great.
It really
I'm
will
like,
be.
I'm gonna be on Instagram like, oh, that was cool. That was great.
I don't know if I'm gonna have time to pick up my phone. Like you and I are gonna like high five once throughout the day because there's so many stages going on. Like, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you see this? But it is Friday, which means we have our all things used car clubhouse room coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. Topic is building a healthy relationship with the vendor dealer partners.
It's like a launch pad for ASOTUCon.
Kind of is. It's kind of the premise, the collaborative mindset behind it. And we are also doing all things used cars live at ASOTUCon too. So special episode of that. Yeah. Yes. So, okay. We got to talk about some news because we got to get the clubhouse because we got to start packing the cars because we got to start getting out. Oh, Brooke is she's packing tonight. I hope you get that coordination right. We know you have to pick. Brooke, if you don't know, has a wall of sneakers. A wall of sneakers. So that's probably going to take 3 hours in and of itself. Like, which ones do I bring? Right. That's just the question. ASOTU crew is going to be rolling with some fresh kicks. Everyone's got their little kicks packed out. We've been sharing pictures on our Slack channel. So either way, we're going to have a lot of fun just serving the community and kind of approaching this with a hospitality mindset. Speaking of hospitality mindset.
Segue.
Time. When I think hospitality, I think the Queen of England.
Without a doubt.
Right?
The Queen of she like the essence of poise and care and dignity with joy. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a picture of Queen Elizabeth. I don't think I ever saw one where it's like, she's not smiling, right? Like every single one is, she has this essence of joy. If for some reason at this point you don't know what happened yesterday, the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, passed away after over 70 years. 70 years of being the Queen of England. Like, that's mind-boggling. That's just mind-boggling to me at age 96, still running, still going. Just one of it, like, internationally known, recognized for her care and compassion for that country and for others around the world. So
without a doubt. And so we want to just take a moment and remember her. We also want to talk about her amazing taste in cars and car collection.
Remember her in a way that only auto people really can.
Only auto can. So she was over 70 years when her father died in 1952. Basically, she was in Kenya on a trip and got the call that was sudden, was on her way back. And she was like asking the people, like the I don't know what they call them, like the assistants on the plane, like, well, what happens now? And it's like, she didn't realize, like, you are actually immediately the Queen of England, like, yes, right now. Right. Can you imagine that? Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. She was in her early 20s, I believe.
Early 20s,
her coronation was actually the first international live TV broadcast. So just think of the media. Like, now everything's live and international.
Changed the game for media too. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
So okay, let's get to the cars. Her first preference was always British off-roaders, which is super cool to know, right? So they say perhaps the first was the Austin K2Y, which she would have used during World War I to kind of move around and rally troops. She loved Land Rover Defenders. Makes sense. Her favorite was a 2002 Defender 110 TD5.
Yeah, throw that photo up again. We've actually got a photo of that one. That upper right-hand corner is that ASOTU.
That's a beautiful truck.
Just a gorgeous, cool truck.
Look at that thing. And she has like a special relationship with Land Rover over the years. They actually gifted 130 Defenders to the British Red Cross for her 75th anniversary as Queen. Wow. In honor to like commemorate. She was at like their new factory when it opened. Her fleet also included several Bentleys, Arnage-based state limousines, including her Golden Jubilee Steed from 2002. That's just like
so elegant.
Elegance and class. Of course, Rolls-Royce had a spot in her heart in the lineup as well. Her Rolls-Royce, her limousines were really Phantom, based off the Rolls-Royce Phantom. She had Rovers, Vohals, Aston Martins. But here's a fun fact. By law,
this is great.
The Queen is the only person in England allowed to drive without a license.
Unbelievable. However, she rarely drove, but she did not have a license, which is just, it's quintessentially England diplomat, right? It's like, there's no rhyme or reason why you're here other than you're in the family, that you don't really have any legal bearing, but because you're here, you also don't need to have a license to drive.
I kind of have this thought of like, I wonder if she was like, she ever really did drive much. I just kind of imagine like, a fleet of like royal escort vehicles around, you know what I mean? Just like kind of somebody else in the car, like making sure like,
I found a couple pictures of her in the driver's seat.
Getting to it.
I think that she definitely did.
She was a tough gal, a tough and tender gal. She'll be remembered very dearly across the globe. And I don't know when the services are going to be held. I'm sure it's going to be
so Friday afternoon, this afternoon, there'll be an address from Charles, and then tomorrow there'll be services, and then the coronation of Charles later in the afternoon. So they get right after that thing.
That's the King of England. So Prince Charles, her oldest son, who is 73 now, is now the King of England.
Wow, there you go.
Are we supposed to say "Long live the King" here?
I think that's the way it goes. Well, I'm not going to say it or England. Right.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to get Cirillo on the show, and he can let us know what the proper etiquette is for addressing things like these. I don't have a segue for this next one, so why don't you just tell us what's going on, Kyle?
Well, hey, look, for the first the sharpest decline of the year, it looks like wholesale used car prices have dropped 4% in August. And so obviously Cox Automotive Data, looking at a bunch of different data points. I'm excited because we'll have Charlie Chesborough at ASOTUCon. I'm guessing this will be a part of his presentation, because recognizing what used car prices are doing in the wholesale market really relates to the retail market and the accessibility of vehicles. Interestingly enough, used vehicle prices are still 8.4% higher than they were in August of last year. And Black Book pricing has actually consistently depreciated for 6 weeks now. So we're seeing a downturn in the used car market. Be aware of that when you're at the auctions purchasing with customers, and then pricing from a retail perspective, because you probably, there's always, and if you're a great used car operator, you know that there's always a gap between wholesale downturn and retail downturn. So you still got an opportunity to find margin in used cars, but watch as retail starts to follow wholesale over the next 6 weeks.
I'm reminding, as I see this, right? Like people say, oh, is it going to start to drop more steeply? Is there going to be a cliff? I'm just remembering all the conversations we've had over the last 6 months with people. Well, even 2 years. But like with people like Dale Pollock, who just understand macro trends, understand how things are affected and how they affect one another. And I remember just everybody saying like, hey, prices are eventually going to drop, but it's not going to be a cliff, right? No. Like we're going to have time to adjust in line. But like Kyle just said, right, there's time, but not all the time in the world, right? Yeah. So now's the time to get your pricing right and get your merchandising right. Speaking of merchandising.
Stop. Yeah. Segue.
Time. So Lowe's, the home improvement company, recently fired its chief marketing officer, brand and marketing officer, as it moves marketing underneath merchandising.
So, note, I think he resigned. They didn't. I don't think they fired.
She
or she. I don't believe. I could be wrong. I just don't want to.
She moved on.
She moved on. Yes.
Well,
okay.
Hold on. What is
has left the yes, as a part of corporate reorganization. So I don't know what that exactly means.
That's called fired.
Sounds like fired, but we'll see.
You're supposed to be too harsh.
Corporate reorganization.
They had other priorities in life. Let's put it that way. Lowe's decided it wanted to do something else with its life, and they parted ways. Thanks for that clarification. We'll see what actually happened. I don't think it's controversial at all. So now marketing is under the merchandising head, Bill Boltz, who is EVP of merchandising. So following 2 quarters of decline from year-over-year comps, CMO Marissa Talberg, chief brand and marketing officer at Lowe's, left the home improvement retailer as part of a corporate reorganization. Under Ms. Thalberg, Lowe's had moved into several high-profile campaigns. So she came in and she said, let's build this brand, right? So now you're seeing Lowe's campaigns during the NFL draft, big Halloween pushes, Valentine's Day. She's the one responsible for getting Petco inside Lowe's. So she kind of like broadened the offering, right? People that come in, I see pets all the time in Lowe's, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
I wonder if that's why actually
concrete floors make it really easy for them to
right. If the dog pees, everyone's like, whatever. So it's actually a pretty controversial move, and we'll have some commentary because it really does relate to auto, which is why we talk about some of this. I went through the comments and just kind of pulled out a few that I thought were relevant. Jeff Whitehour, principal at SSR Retail, said moving marketing under merchandising is a dangerous step by Lowe's. The most likely outcome will be a promotion-driven business and a slow decline in brand value. One more comment, and then we'll get to our commentary. Dave Bruno, director of Retail Market Insights, said, I've long wished for a better alignment between marketing and merchandising, and I admire Lowe's willingness to take this bold, risky step. However, I always envisioned it the other way, merchandising under marketing. What do we think about that, Kyle?
I agree.
There's a lot of thoughts.
Man, Dave, because here's what happens is that I agree that let's start with this. The agreement is that merchandising and marketing should be extremely tightly
cannot be separated.
They cannot be separated. And actually, we're seeing in automotive a lot of marketing directors, director of digital. Actually, they are the ones that are in charge of merchandising. Actually, we had a podcast with Nathan Hollenbeck of DGDG. He includes all of the photographers on his team and his
marketing team
on his marketing
shooting
team.
The vehicles, right?
Yep. And his marketing team is also responsible for reporting on traffic in order to align pricing with used car managers. So when you think about that, that's really a marketing caring for merchandising. What happens is if you go merchandising in charge of marketing, all of the sudden you become very transactional and you are driven toward like a very specific offer or product instead of the overall brand. So think about this actually. And this is, I think this was mentioned by Richard there. I think you read this, but when grocery stores really started to drive all of their marketing based on merchandising, you saw all of the placement of products in the store driving the marketing, which was essentially print offers and papers and online and emails. And it was completely like all grocery stores were driven by what's in stock and what needs to sell. And companies like Publix moved away from that and started brand marketing and really saw an increase out of that. And so I'm really intrigued as to whether, honestly, if Lowe's can keep up with Home Depot at this point, because if I'm Home Depot, I'm licking my chops for market share, right?
Let's buy that Super Bowl commercial now. Actually, I saw an article saying they're already getting close to sold out on Super Bowl commercial inventory.
That's unbelievable.
I know, but it makes sense, right? So the brand marketing side has, your competitor has an opportunity, because maybe here's what happens, right? You go product focused, and one of the other comments mentioned, like, this is how grocery stores typically would operate in like decades past, right? It's all about the weekly circular, right? What products you're trying to move quickly. And that is the lifeblood of your entire revenue stream, is how quickly and effectively you can merchandise and get specials out and turn inventory on like a week by week or month by month basis. Sound familiar, automotive? Yes. And so, but what happens over time is that there's no real substance to the brand. It's just, you're just dependent on
the next
week's merchandising.
I don't know if this sounds familiar, but so the minute that inventory changes or pricing changes, things get much more difficult.
You go in that tool chest, like, what can we do to improve set? There's nothing in there, right? We shot our one gun already. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think likely Lowe's will experience a bump, right? And they'll see year over year stability or growth, maybe even. But, just, we say long-term, but I mean, long-term being like 24 months, right? 24 months. So, I mean, I'm sure there are a couple smart people at Lowe's, and it's easy for us to sit here and say that, but the principles, we just watched it play out in automotive, that the companies who had been investing in brand plays when the pandemic hit disproportionately gained market share throughout the pandemic. Now it's a little bit tough right now, because if you have cars for sale, you're really profitable. So you think you're doing everything great,
right?
And it's fine, right? Everybody's making money. Everyone's executing well right now. But as the inventory regulates, we're really going to see the outflow of the marketing, the brand marketing decisions that had been made 36 months ahead for people that were already playing the game, right? And now, I could say on the congruent side, so I have an agency, Congruent, and where clients are coming and saying, like, what, we haven't been spending a lot, but we realize it's time. We need to kind of like start that again. The best time to plant it. When's the best time to plant a full size tree? Right, 20 years ago. Right?
20
What's
years
the next
ago.
best time? Today. And so you too can plant a big tree today, and hopefully your business will sit under the shade of your savvy brand marketing campaigns for years to come. But we'll see what happens with Lowe's.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a phone call to make.
Speaking of savvy brand marketing,
segue
time.
We thought today would be a prime time, and I'm hoping Paul is dialing it up, a prime time to make a very key phone call from something that we found out about a couple days ago that got announced this morning on LinkedIn. So let's see if we can get a good friend of ASOTU and of the pod on the line here. Let's
remember Phone Call Fridays.
Phone Call Friday. It's coming back.
It was good.
It's Phone Call Friday, baby.
Phone Call Friday.
Let's go. Friday.
There has been zero communication with us and our good friend Bob Lanham. We didn't even say your name, but Mr. Bob Lanham has an announcement to make. Well, he made it on LinkedIn, but everyone listens to this podcast before they check link. Bob, what's going on in your world?
First of all, I can't wait to talk to everybody about it starting this Sunday at ASOTU.
Whoop.
Yep.
So more details on it there. How about that? But yeah, man, I'm fired up, extremely excited. I've made the move from Meta to Carnow, working with the great Tim Cox and Andy Park over there. So, guys, I couldn't be any more fired up.
That's awesome.
Us either.
You know what? I'm most fired up because this is the easiest nickname change I've ever had to give someone in my whole life. You've gone from Meta Bob to Bob Now. It's just that easy.
Hey, can we copyright that? Hey, Paul.
We already own the website.
Yeah,
we already own
BobNow.com. You can go there and find your face all over it. No.
Oh man,
hey,
we
listen, guys.
It's just like a head that just goes back and forth.
Hey, listen, guys. In all seriousness, man, I have truly appreciated both of you the past few years when we first connected, and the thousands of text messages and the podcasts and everything in between, man. It's been a pleasure, and the best part is we get to continue this. So I'm really looking forward to doing that.
So are we. We would just someone's already dropping comments in the LinkedIn comment feed. Bob, now it's over. It's over. It's over. But Bob, we feel the same way. We're super excited that you kind of get to embark on this next chapter of your innovation and impact on retail automotive. We're just getting started, man. Look forward to seeing you in just a couple days.
You guys have no idea. Like, I can't wait. I've talked to so many people already about, all right, where are we meeting? We're going to meet at the Subaru dealership. Are we going to meet at the hotel afterwards?
Yes.
What time in the morning are we going to meet at Xfinity Live? And it's like, I just can't wait to get there. Like, let's just get there.
When are you getting in? When are you getting in town?
I get in Sunday evening, I think at like 6 something. So I was going to jet right over to the Subaru dealership with bag and all, and then figure it out from there.
We'll be ready for you. It's a really short drive from the airport to the Subaru store. So
perfect.
Easy.
And this is in New York City, right?
Yeah, right. You know where it's at. You know where it's at.
Hey, listen, guys, I have flown, my time at Meta, man, I've been at pretty much every airport. And I have flown to the wrong airport before and landed in like, cow.
What does that moment feel like?
I just booked the wrong, but you just call like, hey guys, I'm not going to make it, man. There's no flights to where I need to go. I triple checked them like Philly. Perfect. I'm good.
There's only one. Well, good. Awesome. We'll see you in Philly in like 48 hours from now. Congratulations. And we'll celebrate in person just a short while.
Appreciate y'all and see you on all things used car, baby.
Let's go. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Well, I think that's all the time we have from now. That's a great end of the story. We're jumping into Clubhouse right now. But we got the newly coined Bob Now on your side in retail automotive. There's so many good things to come this week. Make sure you follow us and stay tuned for ASOTUCon.